Friday Night Primetime makes its final trip of the season to the iRacing Spec Racer 4 Challenge. We're here at Road Atlanta, Georgia, and our coverage will kick off in just a couple of moments' time.
The yellow flag is out. Pit road is now open. Keep your eye on those gauges. We'll give you 4 tyres. 3, 2, 1, now. We're done. Get going.
Welcome to Road Atlanta, set to the north of the state capital, Atlanta, Georgia. It's week number 11 of Friday Night Primetime, and today drivers will be doing 20 laps around this shorter version of this racetrack. And well, the pedigree, of course, at Road Atlanta is a big one, culminating normally at the end of the season with the Petit Le Mans. However, as it's Will Vincent here with Connery Maddock. Connery, this track, the shorter version, basically gets rid of quite a lot of the twisty bit and makes it a very fast track.
Very fast track indeed. We'll be doing 20 laps here today. We've got 1 minute and 5 seconds on the fastest qualifying times here. And with it being relatively cold out there in the morning time we have here on iRacing, then that track is going to be very cold, making the track even faster.
Yep, let's have a look then where we are in terms of qualifications. Drivers are on their laps. They've almost pretty much completed their laps. Alejandro Sanchez leads right now with a time of 105.563. Williamson just moving himself then up to P number 6. But that's Adi Copa Lopez in second, David Gaspers in third, Samuel Rednall in fourth, and Bruno Fontalba then in the 5th position right now. In terms of field spread, we have got ourselves 1 second between P number 1 and P number 13 right now. And Conway, well, it means we're in for a pretty big draft fest race.
Yeah, I think we are as well. The only big overtaking opportunity is coming down in towards that final chicane. That happens to be one of the overtaking opportunities on the full circuit. But the thing is, since we cut out the big middle sector here, then that is your pretty much only option around this lap to try and get yourself alongside and complete a move down onto the brakes. But I do want to say we basically have the top 5 in Division 1 in the championship all represented here today. So it should be an absolutely fantastic event.
David Stefanini moving up into P number 10. So you can see our 15 drivers, they have all now done at least 1 qualifying lap here. And, well, let's have a look at the track conditions then here today. So we'll just show you that now up on your screen. 24 kilometer an hour wind there, Connery, along with 23 degrees. Air temperature, 57%. Race relative humidity.
Yeah, that wind is absolutely huge. It's actually gusting as well. I'm just seeing it just drop all the way down to like 5 kilometers an hour, and it's picking things up all the way up to the 20s of kilometers an hour as well. So that could certainly be very, very interesting. Maybe drivers struggling a bit into the braking zones here, as that is going to be a headwind coming down in towards the final chicane. So could be fairly interesting coming down into there, but I think these drivers can deal with it.
Yep, so we want to give a shout out here on Racebot TV to the people behind the magic. Iswan Balao, TrackCams22.com, and One Design. Let's give a huge shout out to Andy Werner, Connery, because anyone who watches Formula 1 in 2018 will see a helmet of Felipe Bottas, of Valtteri Bottas. I blew it already. Of Valtteri Bottas. And, well, that lid was designed by the one and only Andy Werner of And One Design.
Yeah, it really was. It's absolutely fantastic to be able to work with guys that can do stuff good enough to be on the helmet of a Formula One driver. That must be an insane moment for him when he realized he won the competition to design Valtteri's helmet. I can't imagine what that would feel like.
Yeah, that is qualifying over. So let's get you a look then at your starting grid for tonight's event. The driver of Alejandro Sanchez starting on pole position, then Adi Copa Lopez alongside him in second place. David Gaspers will be in third. With fourth place then, that'll be the driver of David Stefanini. He moved up then at the end of qualifying. Fifth place, Samuel Rednall. Bruno Fontalba in sixth. Fraser Williams in seventh. Roman Vasquero in eighth. Ninth is Jonathan Madden, and 10th is David Penn-Jimenez. There are the rest of your drivers up. They are ready almost to go. It's going to be a very, very quick race here today. We anticipate it to be about 22 minutes for those of you that want to time it. 20 laps around this Road Atlanta track. Waiting for the last couple of drivers then to get themselves lined up on the starting grid. Still waiting. Anything you want to say, Connery?
Fraser's the one holding us up, just saying.
Yeah. So Fraser Williamson, we are waiting on him. The car out front as well, number 4 machine, Alejandro Sanchez. You can see at the front of your field. We are almost ready to get going. Now we are just waiting for Fraser Williamson. He is keeping us all waiting. Now we can get those lights on top of the Iris and Gantry. We can get the engines revving. And we can go racing here at Road Atlanta as the cars will work themselves towards one for the first time. A little bit of jostling for position actually there for second place. That's the number 3 machine of David Gaspers. He went to try and go to the outside then. On the running towards turn number 1 for the first time. Was unable to do so. Bit of pack racing going on in the middle of your pack. That's Samuel Rednall. As well as Fraser Williamson's actually up 2 places at the start. And then you got yourself in 7th place right now. This is the driver of Ramon and Van Kelsel as they work themselves down the hill for the first time, Connery.
Yeah, and every single person, single file as well. You pretty much have to be. It's actually right at the back of the field for the final spots. That's Bastien Remis and Alcidia Kono. They were actually side by side coming down through the S's. The only Paro cars that were able to. But here comes the move now for potentially P number 2 for David Gaspers, weaving towards the inside, weaving towards the outside. Will back out of that move as he works with the group ahead to try and break away from the rest of the field, down into the chicane for the first time. Still a little bit battling in the back of the field, though. David Jimenez and Fontabler as well with scrapping going down into there as we come to complete the first lap.
Yeah, live timing and scoring will be available in just a moment's time, ladies and gentlemen. Just visit racepot.tv/timing, and we've got that one up and running for you. So keep in touch with your favourite driver. Jimenez, we've got a crash as well.
Yeah, Val Serral here, number 11 car, contact with Jonathan Madden as well. This is one of your front runners in the Division 1 Championship, side by side in towards turn number 1, and I think the 11 just came across in front of him. Yeah,
let's have a look at one more replay. There we are, down into 1. Slight contact between the 2 of Jonathan Madden and the number 11 machine of Val Serral, and well, Val Serral is out. Madden actually is okay. He's currently in P number 7. Only big issue for him is he is now 1.8 seconds behind Rendell and that leading pack.
Yeah, and the person that Madden has to really be concerned about, especially in terms of his championship, is that David Gaspers finishing so many positions ahead of him, currently P number 3, and Madden really needs to close this points gap in the championship. So it's not been a great day for him, and because he needs these points, in these high SOF races where they matter just a little bit more than your standard weekly strength of field race in the series. But he's got a lot more work to try and get on the board here.
Fraser Williamson worked himself past Rendell there. There's a battle going on for P number 5. That is the closest battle we've got out front. Although out front itself, Adi Copa Lopez is keeping the driver of Alejandro Sanchez honest for the time being as they work themselves then through the little loop that joins basically the exit of turn number 5 through to halfway down the long back straightaway here at Road Atlanta. The thing is, of course, when you've got two teammates working together in Alejandro Sanchez and Ade Copa Lopez, we don't expect these guys to fight much until the final lap, we would expect.
Yeah, we could potentially expect that Copa Lopez is just going to serve as some form of rear gunner for his teammate right now, and then maybe think about trying to take the restart on the last lap if everything is clear in terms of the drivers behind them. But is he actually going to make the move coming down to turn number 1? He does have the run, does take the inside line, but now will Sanchez fight it? Nope. A country mile given on the inside.
Yeah, and actually, I think that was one of those passes where clearly Ade Copa Lopez was faster coming out of the final corner. You had two issues. I mean, of course, momentum, a big thing we talk about in the spec racer forward. In this case, Sanchez was like, okay, you've got enough of a run that I can allow you pass without having to be in a battle with David Gaspers in towards turn number 1. So nice clean move there between the two teammates. Gaspers remained in third place, but now Gaspers gets a good run on the exit of turn number 5, and he might try and sling one down the inside into the chicane.
He might just well try that as he closes right up to the rear of Sanchez, actually pushes him coming down in towards the braking zone now, so not confident enough to go down the inside just yet for P number 2, but a very good run coming through the chicane, could make it side by side under the Suzuki bridge. They go careful there, not a lot of space coming through the inside there, but Gaspers will have to fall behind now as they come across to complete lap 4, and Gaspers is looking desperate now, and Sanchez is going to take the position back off of his teammate.
Yeah, and I think this is actually going to work well for the two teammates for the moment, because it allows them to basically keep that entire main groove going down the front straightaway. Number 4 of Alejandro Sanchez, and back up into a race lead behind number 5 machine of Bruno Fontalba versus Simon Lynch. These guys have been involved in a battle for P8 and 9 on track, and of course Rendell and Stefanini now battling for P number 5 as Fraser Williamson is up now into 4th.
Yeah, he's gained those 3 positions on his qualifying position. Now the front pack of 3 is well within his sights, and he's actually hasn't really dropped out of the drafting range of these spec racer force, so there's every chance that he's able to drag himself back up there. Big dive for Gaspers down the inside of the chicane though, and he's got one teammate. Will he yet manage to get the other?
They work up the hill as well. Gaspers actually has lost himself a bit of time. That's 4 times per second now to Alejandro Sanchez. At the same point in time, Montalba and Jonathan Madden were going at it. That was 7th place on track, of course. Live timing and scoring will keep you up to date with your favorite drivers. Sanchez now has a half a second lead behind. There's a lot more that's going on, however. Let's have a look as they work themselves now through turn number 1. You can see on your screen Montalba at the front, then Jonathan Madden, Simon Lynch and Rob Fears are all going at it for spots at the rear end of your top 10.
Yeah, and Fontalba was pretty sketchy coming through the first Apex DSs there, but he has a comfortable enough buffer to the cars behind not to worry too much about losing that momentum coming up through turn number 5. Not the most dangerous turn number 5 like the full circuit, but they still managed to make their way through there. Side by side for what is going to be P number 5 though. Stefanini versus Rendell here. Rendell will hold position as there's a little bit of jostling at the front of the pack there. That's Ade Copa Lopez getting back through on Gaspers, but Gaspers has the run coming onto the Suzuki bridge. Inside line defended from by Copa Lopez coming down into the final corner, and now Gaspers, he's still trying to get himself back past, and he did manage to get himself past last lap. But the thing is, he's lost that position and is losing yet more time to your leader. And
he pulled out the not easy pedal early then, knowing that he couldn't go side by side, wanted to keep as much of a momentum run around Gaspers, because Fraser Williamson, by the way, is now right there in that mix. And don't forget, he was at one point about 2.5 seconds back from this pack. He's closed it down to 1.1 to your race leader. Fraser Williamson, by the way, is the fastest man on track at the moment.
Yeah, and I think you would love to hear you say that, but the thing is, Fraser Williamson broadcasted races not really has gone well for him, really. So let's just see what happens here. He's done very well so far, but the thing is, can he get himself on that podium? Can he get himself even the race win here? And it's looking relatively likely if he can keep this pace up, but that's the key thing.
Yeah, and it's also how is he going to navigate this traffic when he comes up to it, because he's now behind a charging David Gaspers. As you can see, moves and shakers in this event. Both Williamson and Lynch are up places. Bit of an early downshift there for Williamson, actually, in towards turn number 1. Behind Madden, side by side. That is with the driver of the number 12 machine, Simon Lynch. Lynch will get the position for the moment as they head themselves out in towards turn number 3. And Lynch secures the position as Madden goes off and just kicks a couple of cones onto the track for good measure.
Yeah, Rob Fears did have the opportunity as well, but Madden did manage to get himself clear by the entry to the S's there. There's a little bit of rear-end damage to the rear left of Jonathan Manscar as he does take a bit of a wider line coming through turn number 5. That's just a little bit unusual. Allows Rob Fears to draw himself alongside. He'll have the outside line initially coming down in towards the chicane, though, and actually Madden's going to give that one up.
Yeah, I think Madden's got some damage to that car. He's talking about the rear damage. He's had that for a few laps, but I think running off there down at turn at number 3 on track a lap ago shows I think there's something a little bit amiss with that car right now. So let's go back to your race leader, Alejandro Sanchez, because he has now been caught by everyone. Now, Ali Copa Lopez is now only 2 tenths of a second behind him. Coming out to halfway this next time by... as well, actually, we'll be in the end of lap number 9, so almost halfway then. But Sanchez versus Copa Lopez then, that is the battle going out front, but you've got Gaspers and Williamson right behind. Now, that last time by, Williamson was still the third fastest man on track, but now, once you're in that pack, really, it's about who is the fastest in that quadruple. The quad-ish, the something.
Yeah, I believe that's the term. As the teammates did have a look at each other coming down in towards the chicane, and Williamson is just going to stay behind. As I believe the term you're looking for is quartet.
Indeed, I blew it again. Rambo right behind the driver of Stefanini right now. Don't often talk about Stefanini in our broadcast, but it's good to see him here on Friday night. Rendo, bumpty bump. A little bit bump drafting then in towards turn number 1. Trying, I think, to catch up to the rear of Williamson, but it's a kind of losing battle right now. They lost half a second that last lap, Connery, and it looks to be now actually there is Stefanini around.
Yep, curse of the commentator, curse of the cameras being on you, and coming up through turn number 3, I believe that was, just on, he clipped the curb a bit too much. That curb can be very, very vicious, and you just can't see the car skip over it, land awkwardly, and it just completely upset the car, and he's in the barriers.
You don't think that maybe the bumping down in towards turn number 1, the higher speed through this section of the course might be an issue? Do you think it was just pure driver error?
I think that's just a little bit of an error that Stefanini has made there. Too much of the curb. You can see he's even across all 4 tires across the white line as well. So I think that's just an error rather than anything else.
Yeah, he's brought that car on towards pit road. So he'll be the second driver potentially out of this event. David Stefanini and Ramon Varicel. Is just having a look, by the way, at the rear of the field. Marco Essidio Kono. When's the last time we talked about Marco Essidio Kono at the rear of a race field?
Yeah, that is incredibly unusual. He does have a little bit of damage to the front right bodywork there, and that car doesn't seem to be handling at all well coming through the chicane. He's trying to wiggle the car around to see what might be broken on that machine, but something is definitely broken with the lap times he's running.
Yeah, it is indeed. As out front, Copa Lopez and Sanchez was actually able to pull out a couple of tenths of a second over Williamson and Gaspers. Williamson is now up into that 3rd position. Gaspers is down to 4th, and they'll go side by side in terms of the race leader. And Lopez leads from Sanchez from Williamson as they work themselves through the chicane. Let's go on board then with the driver of Williamson as they work themselves down towards turn number 1. Connery, talk us through this end of the lap into the first part of it.
Yeah, run down into the first corner. Especially important in these draft-dependent cars to just sit behind someone coming through here, onto the brakes, coming into this medium-speed first turn. This kind of can be sketchy on the first lap, but Williamson does try to go for the move up in towards now this scary, or what I think is scary, turn number 3, because you're mostly blind on entry. You see it just at the last moment, so you just have to aim and pray that you hit that apex. Now, coming down into the S's section, this just needs an absolutely perfect line coming down through here to be anywhere near quick. Up through turn number 5 now, and this is obviously the different the difference between the full course and the short course, and I'd rather be taking this turn than the other one, let me tell you that. Straight onto the back straight we'll go. Fraser Williamson trying to use Copa Lopez, just try and bump him 3 wide for the race lead. We'll go down in towards the chicane. Copa Lopez will come out on top, still side by side between Sanchez and Williamson. And Williamson, that opportunity will go a begging, coming to the final chicane under the Suzuki Bridge. There can be a couple of bits of bumps there in the tarmac that can upset the car and send you into barriers, but these drivers managed to negotiate them relatively okay. Coming on to lap number 13 now, Williamson looking to make progress.
I tell you what, that really did show up what momentum is all about in these cars, as Williamson then almost gets a tag from the right rear by David Gaspers, but they work themselves up the hill through turn number 3. And then it's all downhill quite literally for a bit, as they'll now work themselves through turn number 4 and then sling it in a moment's time towards turn 5. Has Gaspers had a moment there? Has Gaspers got off entirely, or was that just him going very wide?
Very wide onto the gravel, onto the grass. It's actually, he had issues before. This is turn number 4, so the final apex of the S is, it's on the curb, car just tries to spit towards the outside of the track, and as a result, his momentum's completely gone and in the wrong direction as well, as he does manage to recover the car, but the thing is, he is now what looks to be about 3 seconds off of your front pack.
Yeah, make it 3.1 then for David Gaspers right now, and that is not what he would have wanted to have been the case with over half the race scored complete. Now, he can catch that one up, and Samuel Rendell is there in the mix as well. Sanchez leads from Ade Copa Lopez. Now Williamson is in third, and he's like at the rear of a trio, not a quadret. A quadret? Quartet, that's a one.
You blew it again, Will.
It's been a long day, all right? But do you think that Williamson now is in a 3-car pack compared to a 4-car pack might be a little bit more aggressive, knowing the fact he's been able to sense a weakness over his leading duo before?
Yeah, he doesn't have to worry about anyone trying to steal a position away from him when he goes for a move now. There's absolutely no one behind him, and I don't think Gaspers and Rendell can catch up by the end of this race unless something drastic happens. So the teammates will try to swap positions coming down in towards the chicane here, as Lopez will get himself through. Sanchez will be okay here. Fraser Williamson not able to capitalize on the teammates swapping positions, and this is just what they have to do now all the way to the end to try and keep Fraser Williamson behind. They have to work together. No egos now.
Down past the start-finish line to start lap number 15 of 20. Rear of the field, by the way, we've had a bit of a battle. Rob Fear is going at it with Bastien Remise as they'll come side by side in towards turn number 1. We're on board with the number 8 machine there of Bastien Remise, and, well, doesn't get a position done in towards turn number 1, but does get a better run up the hill. Has to stay in line for the time being. 3 drivers out of the event now. Marco Acidio Kono, Dave Stefanini, and Ramon Valasel. So basically, all the people with the hardest names are out.
Yeah, I think that's incredibly fortunate for us.
Yes. As here is Lynch once again, P number 8. As he's on the rear of David Penny and Jimenez right now. Not been that good a race for Jimenez, actually, all things considered. Expect him maybe to have been a bit higher in the Champs iRacing number 7 machine. So when Lynch looks down to the inside into the chicane, not able to do anything, and works himself back out of it. And let's go back again to your leading trio.
Yeah, your leading trio are still in relatively the same order as last year. You saw those 2 teammates at the front of Sanchez and Copa Lopez, and Williamson still trying to do something about the brick wall of teammates in front of him, and I don't envy him in this position. This is quite a tricky one to try and get yourself out of, try and get yourself to the front, knowing that you're not only battling 1 car, but you're battling 2 cars that are working together. That takes a special kind of driver to get yourself to the front. Yeah,
so the question is for Williamson, what does he do? Can he force a mistake from Sanchez or Lopez? Unlikely to be a case, but I think what Williamson will try and do is disrupt the apple cart as they go for one of these side-by-side moves. Like, we're going to see one set up now. It's going to be a good time, and for Williamson, not able to do anything there.
Yeah, it must be incredibly frustrating. I think he has to go for the balls of steel move at some point. Make it 3 wide coming down into there if you have the opportunity. Because then, you know, most drivers aren't used to racing 3 wide coming down into there. Could be a little bit of confusion caused, could be a little bit of contact as well. and then he could just maybe manage to squeak your way through. But he did drop a little bit of time on that last lap, especially coming down into that chicane. But the thing is, the draft will drag him right back into things. The pack behind are catching, actually, bit by bit by bit, and Gasper's 105.8 and Williamson did 106.1, so if this second pair, actually work together, potentially they could drag themselves up to the front, but I don't think it's too likely.
Also, we saw Jimenez there. He basically just pushed Madden down the start-finish line, but then didn't do anything about it. We were looking also at Lynch over Fears. That one's been going at it with no progress as of yet. Now, Williamson's dropped back half a second here. This could either have been, I don't know if we saw anything that was wrong with him during the lap in question. He's actually now closed it back down to a quarter of a second, so I might as well just stop talking at this point.
Maybe we should, maybe we shouldn't. That's the thing. Do the audience want to hear the soothing tones of Will Vincent or not? I don't know. I'll take that as a no. So this should...
Maybe.
I mean, you have a better voice than I do, I will admit that, so there we go.
Well, here we are then. We've got to get ourselves now 2.5 laps to go if you're the driver of Fraser Williamson. Out front, it's still the Sanchez and Copa Lopez train, however. I still want to keep an eye on this Jimenez battle as well. We haven't really talked too much about it. But that Champs Racing car keeps on trying, getting close to the rear of Madden. But I think he's toying with him right now, like a little dog with a treat, and that he just wants to be playing with before he actually goes in for the kill.
Yeah, he has to make this move definitive because the draft lock is pretty strong here. So, you know, even if he gets past on one of these next couple of laps, in fact, 2 laps to go as they head their way across the line next time. So he wants to make this definitive. He doesn't want Madden to have another an opportunity later on in the lap to try and get himself back past and then lead across the line on the checkered flag lap. So we'll see what happens in terms of that one, but here we go. Fraser Williamson still no move into towards turn number 1, and I think the Copa Lopez and Sanchez are playing this absolutely pitch perfectly at the moment.
But there's still a lap and a half to go as we zoom in then on the leading trio. So they'll head themselves towards turn number 5 once again. Up and around the trees here at Road Atlanta. This is a good one by Williamson, actually. He gets a fantastic run through the little loop around. This will give him a bit of momentum as they'll come down the shortened back straight away towards the chicane. Now, is he going to go down to the inside, the ultra inside? He's done it once before. Or is he going to thread the needle? He's not going to do either of those. He'll stay behind one more time. But that was the opportunity to try and thread the needle. He gets a good run out the corner compared to the driver of Sanchez, and actually is classified as ahead now. Can he take the wider line through the final corner? Yes, he can. We'll come to the white flag lap, and now it's going to be Copa Lopez leading from Williamson, from Sanchez. But was this all been a big, big game? Because now here comes Williamson to the outside in turn number 1 over the driver of Ade Copa Lopez. Up the hill they come, and Williamson turned around. The curse will continue.
Yes, it will. Absolute calamity for Williamson there, and I don't think it was really his fault. Sanchez just stuck his nose in where perhaps it didn't belong there coming on the exit. Actually, I'll take that back. That one is very, very hard to call.
It is. Williamson did look as though he was coming to the right quite a bit there. But we go back then to your race leader. It is Ade Copa Lopez, and he is leading now by 1.2 seconds. This can now be a coast to the line for Ade Copa Lopez as he works himself now up the hill underneath the Suzuki Bridge for the final time. While we've had our controversy in this race, we've had ourselves a bit of fun, but it will be Ade Copa Lopez who will come home as your winner in our final trip then to the the Spec Racer 4 Challenge here on iRacing for this season on Prime Time. Ade Copa Lopez is your winner. It will be the driver of Alejandro Sanchez in second. David Gaspers then a hard-fought battle with Samuel Rednall ends up coming home in third. Connery?
Yeah, I was just about to make the comment that Fraser Williamson started 7th, ends up finishing the race in 7th, so all of that hard work to get himself up towards the front, completely and utterly nullified.
And a 4X as well.
And a 4X for his troubles as well, but I don't think he'll be too concerned.
No, let's have a look at this then. One more time on replay. This time with the driver of Fraser Williamson. And into the water. Now, the good thing for Williamson is he didn't get too much damage on that one. Going to see if we can get one more look from up above. This is in towards turn number 1. I want to pause the camera there. That is the point of contact. And, well, the thing is, Williamson is just starting to track to the right there. He's not fully clear of the driver of Alejandro Sanchez. And as you just roll the tape, that is where the incident happened. Coming across... Right rear catches left front, and around, Williamson will go.
Yeah, and he's right now in the driver radio, he's trying to say that he got a little bit loose. Not sure if that's what the footage shows there, Will, but yeah, I would definitely pin the blame more on Williamson there for coming across right in front of the teammate.
Here's your results. From Friday night primetime. On Racebot TV. Until I've done radio before, right? Adecopa Lopez claims victory by 1.1 seconds over Alejandro Sanchez, with the driver David Gaspers in 3rd place. Samuel Rendell in P number 4, Jonathan Madden in 5th, David Pema-Yimnez then in 6th, Fraser Williamson started 7th, got all the way up to P2, finished 7th. Simon Lynch in 8th, Bastien Remise in 9th, and Rob Fears rounds out your top 10. Rest results up on your screen. We're going to step away for just a quick moment here, ladies and gentlemen, on Racebot TV. We'll come back with some talking, some interviews, and previews after this. Another Friday night prime time in the books. Another race with a lot of excitement and just a little bit of controversy. Connery, we're going to talk about that incident. The curse of Williamson will, however, continue.
Yes, it will. And in fact, we do have Mr. Fraser Williamson in the commentary booth right now. And we will have a little bit of a chat with him about that incident. Do you want to explain, Fraser?
I messed up. Short and sweet, I messed up and came across Alejandro.
Short and sweet and very honest, Will.
Yeah, you know what? It's not often we get a nice, honest answer like that. So, Fraser, talk about you actually coming up through the field. Started P number 7, got yourself up, made up a little bit of time as well, actually. Got yourself past Gaspers, then in a Freeway battle in the end with Anacopa Lopez, Alejandro Sanchez. It was a good run for 90% of the race.
Yeah, I'm good at getting good runs and doing absolutely nothing with it. Started near the back-ish mid-pack, messed up my qualifying, so I thought, alright, I'll pump in, get clear of whatever pack I'm in, get to the front, then pump in as fast laps as I can. Thankfully Adai and Alejandro, they battled into turn 1, which I don't understand, but allowed me to catch them back up. And I tried to stick with them, figure out where they were slowing each other down, and I couldn't get away past them without causing incident.
Can we make a Curse of Williamson t-shirt and put it in the Racebot TV shop now?
As long as I get money from it.
We'll give you 5%.
We'll negotiate after.
Okay. That's a lot better, Connery, than a response that we got from Jake when we asked to do a t-shirt with him. Before we let you go, Fraser, anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Just everyone at TBR, you know, giving me the curse as well in Discord and TeamSpeak during the race. It wouldn't be the same without it.
Thank you very much there to Fraser Williamson. And you, Connery, have got David Gaspers.
Yes, I do. I have what ends up being a very good third position there for David Gaspers. Even though you did have your issues, we did discuss this before we just went live then. So, in the middle of the race, coming out of the S's, what do you think went wrong? We think you hit a curb and you pushed wide. And was that a fair assessment from your side?
I think after I hit the curb, I bottomed out a little, but turned my car to the left and I had to brake. But somehow my car wouldn't steer after that. I thought at first that the steering broke, but I had to slow down about 30 kilometers per hour, and after that I had to hope that they would fight at the front. Otherwise there was no chance to catch up again.
Yeah, and with what ended up being a good result for you, considering your issues, you get a bit of more of a points gap between yourself and Jonathan Madden, finishing 2 places ahead of him in a big strength of field race. This race was over 5,000 in terms of the strength of field, so that is a very good points haul. Are you still worried about Madden behind you in the standings?
Not that much. I think I had quite a big gap before this race already, so I'm not very worried about it.
Yeah, it was around about what is looking to be a 60-70 point gap, and obviously that gets extended for this one, so you're looking very comfortable coming towards the end of the season. Of course, there is actually prizes for this season. There's the iRacing featured series that they do every single season now, and you get 25 credits, iRacing credits, to spend on the service if you win your division, and you're top of Division 1. What are you going to spend the 25 credits on if you get it?
I guess most likely some new track. I'm still relatively new to iRacing, so I don't have that many.
Yeah, and it's very, very useful for, and very nice of iRacing to be offering little bits of prize money for their official series. But is there anyone else you want to thank before we let you go, David?
I have to thank the guys who raced me all season. It has been some great races and fights, and I hope it continues in the next season.
Yeah, we sure do hope it continues well, as that was it was a good race. It wasn't a fantastic race, it was a good race.
It was. We've got a lot more racing though to come tonight. Red Bull Global Rallycross at Daytona Rallycross Long. Then we've got ourselves World of Outlaws late models at Volusia, World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series at Eldora. Each of these 3 series, of course, Connery, soon will be a World Championship Series.
Yeah, and with that announcement, the stakes have definitely been raised. I think we'll see a lot more people pile into that series, trying to get some practice before the qualifying series for those 2 respective disciplines get themselves underway. And who knows, maybe some different cream rises to the top.
Then Saturday, it is the Suzuka 10-hour endurance race of the Sports Car Open. You and Jake are in the first 5 hours of that.
Yes, we are. It's a Sports Car Open special event, one-off special event, 10 hours of the Suzuka racing circuit, and it's a circuit that I absolutely adore, and to be broadcasting at least 5 hours of it is going to be brilliant, and the racing is going to be absolutely fantastic as well, as we've seen in the regular season for the Sports Car Open, so definitely tune into that one.
Yeah, I've never actually called an endurance race at Suzuka, so I am actually a little bit jealous. V8 Super Truck Series, round number 1 of a new series, will be at Interlagos. The major series, the Daytona 500, of course. Not just us with the major series, you also got LSR TV, V8's Online, and Max P TV. Oh, GSRC. GSRC, that's the one. Apologies there to GSRC. I was so close. And then, of course, also Sunday night, it is the return of the Indy Elite Series on the parabolic banking at Homestead, Miami Speedway. I'm going to turn the music off for a quick second. I just want to say, honestly, on behalf of everyone on RaceSport TV, and I know that there has been a little bit of a difficult couple of days for the commentators and the fans over comments made on YouTube on Sunday night as part of the Daytona 500. We just want to stay here that there is no one here at RaceSport TV who is racist. Now, I know the comments were on the insensitive side and taken out of context. Actually, I can understand why a number of people could have seen that it was something that could have been seen as a racist comment. But we want to assure all of you, our fans, that we take pride in the diversity that we have here at RaceSport TV. We have many different people of many different races, many different nationalities, many different creeds and religions and genders. People who have disabilities. There are people who are young, people who are old. We are proud to be a RaceSport TV family. And I want to personally say, anyone who was offended by what was said on Sunday, I deeply, deeply apologize to you all. And we want to make sure that we focus on the racing. We don't want to get involved in controversies, because let's be honest, it's a racing that does the talking. And the music now goes back on. So that is all we've got time for on Friday night prime time tonight from Road Atlanta. Join the guys a little bit later on tonight for Red Bull Global Rally Class, World of Outlaws Late Models, World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series, and of course tomorrow, 10 hours worth of sports car racing at Suzuka. That guy's Connery Maddock. I'm Will Vincent. We'll talk to you all next time. Peace out. Bye-bye.